Object is the new art exhibit over at the well-known Wignall Museum of Contemporary Art located at the Chaffey College campus. This art exhibit features artists such as Lester Monzon, Nathan Bennett, and Yolanda Bolera. Art Object presents different variations on the relationship between art and objects in our world. It shows how each person's background influences how they respond to the objects displayed. Is this a chair or an empty man? Is this a mirror or someone's hardships? Assistant curator Roman Stolenwerk knows the Wignall Museum inside and out.
For the Art Object exhibition, the director here, Rebecca Trewick, gave me the chance to curate an exhibition. So an idea that I've been interested in a long time as a curator is just partially in design and art and how they relate to each other. So I knew what I was kind of interested in to begin with, so I wanted to find a contemporary designer to bring to the museum.
Art Object, I think it's a really good idea. I think it leads us to question the aesthetics of objects, everyday objects, and then also the function of art. I like that, yeah, it brings up that question and it makes us look at that.
I think it's really interesting, and it inspires a lot of debate between what is art and what is just a functional item. People are like, no, that's just a chair and I want to sit on it, and no, it's more than a chair, and it's something that we should kind of treasure.
My favorite piece is This Limitation Leads Me to Myself by Yolanda. It's the first one that you really that really catches your eye and your attention. It's just kind of like, it looks like a roller coaster, and my favorite part of the piece is the fact that the rocking chair is at the bottom, and it's kind of like the foundation of the piece that kind of holds everything together, it looks like, which is ironic because it's a rocking chair.
I thought of Yolanda Bolera as an interesting kind of play between people who are working with functional objects and then Yolanda, who is using functional objects in her artwork and kind of removing their functionality.
Yolanda works with a wide variety of mediums, including found objects, furniture, and food.
I think your favorite piece in some ways is always your latest piece, because maybe it's the thing that you don't quite understand yet. Because if I'm making art because I have questions about the world, questions about how things are relating to each other, how things can set up with each other, maybe once you figure out the answer to a question, it doesn't interest you as much anymore. Generally, I find materials that speak to me in some way. Whether it's out walking and you just see this thing by the side of the road and it fits perfectly to everything that's been kind of rolling through my head, and I've been knowing that I needed something but not knowing what it was. Sometimes I'll go on a specific quest, like to a thrift store, to find an ironing board. And you know, they can have 4 different ones there, but there'll be one that for whatever reason is the one. You know, there's no substituting it, even if they're all completely identical. There's a certain aura to an object that I think is how I choose materials. I definitely have made a lot of work with food, which gets really messy. For one artwork where I baked 12 loaves of bread in the oven at once, they rose into each other and they formed things that were their own. It was nothing that I created, but I just set the stage for them to perform on their own. So I think that's kind of what I like about food. I also like how it can be beautiful and so gross at the same time. Like after you've seen a headboard turned on its side, next time you're in a position to see a headboard, maybe you would feel a little differently about it. Maybe you would start to see that there's this kind of magic that can happen all the time. You know, I'm just pointing out one instance of it, but that it would empower you to walk through the world and see these things on your own without me.
Yolanda and all the other artists have redefined the meaning of art in this month-long show. Art Object will be going on from now until November 23rd at the Wignall Museum of Contemporary Art. Art is the desire of a man to express himself, to record the reactions of his personality to the world he lives in. Thanks to these artists, students can now go above and beyond to view their world as a giant art canvas.